All right, welcome back. This is a cool day and a real milestone for the channel. We have a package here from John Demko at Demko Knives. He was kind enough to send some of the recent AD20.5 variants over to get checked out on the channel. Of course, I'm going to use my Demko AD20.5 for this unboxing. Let me just do some of this off screen here, make sure nothing sensitive is in there. If you caught it, I did buy one of these new G10 Demko AD20.5s. I already got another clip on there. See what that's like. All right, this is super cool. All right, let's get some of these out of here. So 3 are landing today. 4? Oh crap! I think we got 4 here. Hoping to get more in if he's generous enough to go that far above and beyond. I'm thrilled to get a bunch of these magnets. That's super cool. Those are going to drive my wife wild, mad because they're going to be all over the house. And it looks like he gave us some cool giveaways. So there are a bunch of magnets and keychains here. You all are going to get hooked up for sure. You hooked me up. I hooked you up. Stickers. We got it all. This is awesome. No, oh my gosh. How many have you put in here? This is super cool. I'm having fun with this. Okay. So we got a whole bunch of giveaways here. Please comment. Let me know if you're interested in some of these, and we'll make sure and share some of these out to subscribers of the channel. Keychains, stickers, magnets, and so on. More sharks than we know than we have salt water for in this house. All right, let's take a look at what we got. This is awesome. Super excited for this one. This is the new carbon fiber S35VN. We have the new natural G10. I think that's this one right here. Also shark foot. Those two are shark foot. You can see that. We have a black G10 shark foot. And coyote. Okay, so this is coyote, sorry. Coyote tan and natural is the more of the translucent one like I have on my AD20S here, which I picked up on the DLT drop. So super cool. All right, man, where do you start? This is so hard. I think I've been having a theme lately of dessert first on the channel. And let's start with the carbon fiber. I'm so excited to check out this new carbon fiber. If you remember the old carbon fiber, which I've shown on the channel, it's very smooth. I'll make sure and pull this one out here. This is one of the former carbon fiber variants. And we'll compare it, and then we'll go into all these different knives. This is super cool. I'm gonna pull this out over here because these things tend to be pretty well jammed in there, which is great. I've never seen one of those pop open during shipping. And look, on these new ones, it's very simple packaging. It's gonna save you room and you're safe. That's as far as I'm concerned. I don't need another cloth or another box or whatever. That's all big. I love this packaging personally. Some people are like, hey, where's my nice packaging? I'm like, this is the nice packaging. This is great for me. And there it is. Take a look at that texture. That is a really unique. I don't know if I've ever seen carbon fiber like that before. I'm trying to think of what does this feel like to me? And it's not too abrasive. It's very middle, like it's called a medium. They're calling it like a medium texture carbon fiber. That is really cool. It's kind of nylon-like. Is that the right? I'm trying to think of what that is. It'll come to me. I just want to show you how that compares with the older ones. These older ones, some people loved and some people hated. I wouldn't say the word hated, but some people weren't as crazy about. And a big part of that was that they're very smooth, which is, really nice, I think, feel in hand. But it for a user, there were some concerns with that. Now, this particular one is a clip point. I've had one in the shark's foot also, but I think I let it go at some point. So really want to just show those differences right there. Let me get you a nice little close up, and you can really see the difference in the carbon fiber finish. I'd say that's a really nice update. I really like it. And just, feel in hand again, very smooth, a little bit of texture there. it's a really interesting approach. I've never seen anything like that personally. I'm sure some of you may have. Out of box, solid. Whoops, that was user error. You know, it's actually, I think it might need a tad bit. It's almost like too, I don't want to say too loose, but like it could actually be even a tad bit tighter. Having spent a lot of time around Demkos, I'm just going to give this a small little turn here. I'm going to back it off, give it a small little turn. I don't want to get to the point where I'm pushing it. It just, whatever that natural stopping point is, that tends to be a really good spot for it. I went too far, like I was saying. You don't have to put too much on these. It doesn't have to be a crazy torque. There we go. All right, let me see how that is now. Very good. All right, so there are some questions on this, which is, I think one of the questions I got from someone in the Demko Facebook group was, is it still a liner inside? And the answer is yes. This is not a slab carbon fiber. You can see in there's a steel liner that runs the length of the handle. Makes it very strong. Not budging that at all, even with just the standoffs and no backspacer. Very, very strong. Let me see if there's a difference between the old one and the new one. Here's the old one. Actually, I get a tad bit of flex on the old one. The new one, I think, might be even more solid. It's probably about the same. It feels very similar. I like this. I could very much see carrying this. This is a really nice feel in hand. It's still not high texture. Like I could even see them going further on the texture here. I'm trying to think of, I mean, for me, when it comes to carbon fiber, one of the styles I really like, they do on the Badlands from Civivi, and it's got like a real texture in there. That to me is about the perfect texture. I probably like this a touch more. It's got a little extra grip on there. And but I think this is a great improvement. I really like it. You know, obviously I think this is just an all-around much better knife. Whew, that is a sweet little knife. Okay, I'm really excited to weigh this one in. Let's see how it weighs in. Let's give some context. This is a very popular knife. This is the Gryvery AUS 10. Although it has a different clip, I weighed it. It was within, whoops. Let me re-zero that real quick. It was within like 1/10 of an ounce. It was within less than 1/10 of an ounce when I switched the pocket clip. It was like a couple hundredths of an ounce. 3.51, 3.62 to get the carbon fiber up from Gryvery. And just to put it in context, here's the 3.63 for the new G10. So not heavy. That is a very light EDC. As if you've watched the channel, I'm not going to go into it again, but you know I'm a big fan of the shark's foot as an EDC blade. I want to take a look at the jimping, see if there's any difference there, because Demko tends to do some interesting things with jimping on their 80/20 S series. This looks about the same, although it's darker. Now I'm curious if this is the same on these two. It looks still a little darker. I don't know if the finish is a little different on this carbon fiber version, but the jimping looks a little darker in there for some reason. They're both S35VN here. So this is, I should back up the truck a little bit. These are the new S35VN variants from Demko Knives. They've just come out. Yeah, this is a really cool one. I'm going to keep moving here because I'm almost 10 minutes in and I'm still stuck on this carbon fiber, but I'm a pretty big carbon fiber fan, and I hope you have enjoyed this one because I haven't seen a lot of coverage on this yet, and it's good to get this out to the subscribers and to the channel, and hopefully this is helpful. Again, you're getting the bigger hardware now, S35VN blade steel. $265. The price is unchanged from the prior carbon fiber, even though they've added this texturing, so that's great. So there's your quick comparison there. Let me try and keep everything straight here. Make sure I got the right knives in the right boxes, and then let's keep moving. All right, the next one, I'm gonna keep with the theme of dessert first, and we're going to do the natural G10, because I think this is one that sold out first at DLT. It's an exciting one. They hadn't done it in the 80/20. Is that true? Yeah, no, they had not done it in the 80/20.5. Oof, that one was real tight. Oh boy, okay. And I think this is a really exciting variant, like really exciting variant for a lot of people. Obviously, it says a lot when it's the first one that sells out. I think that one sold out next. I don't know what's left at DLT. I think Knife Center still had knives around. You know, I think people tend to go DLT first. I'm not going to say anything. That's your choice, but there's some reasons for that potentially. Sweetie. Another one, really great out of box. Perfect lockup. And that is really cool looking. It's really interesting how you can see the liners, you know, the holes in the liners right through there. Let me see, where'd my flashlight go? There we go. Had to have the flashlight for this one. That's pretty wild. That's just cool. So this is the first time they've done this in the 80/20.5. They had done this in the 80/20 full size, and then recently had started to do it in the 80/20 S as well. And you can see all the insides right there as well. I think that's a really cool. And then if you're into RIT dyeing your handles or whatever, obviously this is a great option for someone that wants to customize their knife. And sorry, I've got the tripod in front of me, so I'm not at my best on deployment right now. But everything feels good. Rollout feels good. And you got the standoffs. Again, if you remember on the older ones, they did a back spacer in the small hardware, and they had the landing pad here. This is just an all-around, I think, better looking variant and knife. Got that one right there. That's my personal G10 version. I'll move. All right, had a little technical difficulty. Hopefully good going forward. So let's get this 80/20 S out of here and keep going. I just moved my personal Coyote G10 over. I'll just pull this one out of here just to show one with the factory pocket clip. You know what? Random experiment too. We will weigh that in and see if for some reason the natural G10 is somehow a little bit lighter. I don't know if that might be a thing or not, but here's the Coyote. Everything's just coming real nice here. Perfect lockup, looks great. But let's do a quick experiment. I'm curious if somehow, I mean, I imagine it's just dye, but let's just humor the curiosity for a minute and see if there's any weight difference in these. All right, 3.66 ounce, 3.68, so negligible. What was the, and then we had the carbon fiber, but put it over here, 3.62, so a little bit lighter on the carbon fiber. All right, let's get this out of here and get the last one open. I'm just making sure to keep all the packaging straight here, so bear with me. And we're gonna get this black open. This is, I was really torn when I was thinking about my personal EDC on whether I wanted to go kind of a little wild with that one. The tan, I've just been a big fan of. My first 80/20 was in the tan. Or whether to go with this black so that I had, you know, less markings, or go carbon fiber because it was smoother. I love so many of these new variants that they put out that it was a really hard decision for me to decide which one, but I was actually leaning towards the black one for a minute there. And I was going to potentially even grab one in a clip point as well, just to kind of get on the channel and see what that looked like. Oops, that was user error. Feels good out of package again. Pretty good lockup. I'm noticing a few of these are like just a little bit loose, just a touch. Like you really don't want to overdo this, as you saw in that first one that I did, but just a snig like that, and then you're solid. So there they are. Those are the, I think this is probably going to be the most popular, is the shark foot for this particular sizing, the EDC, blade, to compare with the old 80-20.5 in Gribery. I just think that shark foot is going to be a very popular one, just like this was. And I'm really liking the variance in the colors. So the black is very dark black. Sometimes black comes in different permutations. Not all blacks are created equal. Here's the Ontario Rat 2. Again, here's that Civivi Badland Vagabond. You can see this really, and granted that's carbon fiber, but this is a really nice like dark black. Here's the aftermarket G10 handles that Demko put out for their prior model, for the Gribery model. This looks really good. I like it. For an EDC, this is a pretty choice color for a lot of people. If you're going to be using it a lot and you don't want to be constantly wiping it off and stuff, pretty hard to go wrong with this. You're not going to worry about picking this up with a little dirt on your hands. So that black is pretty choice for a lot of people, I think. I think a good thing to do would just be, a quick comparison. Let's just pick one at random here. Always a fun color to do your comparisons against. Let's do some comparisons against some of the other knives out there that you might know better than these. So again, Ontario Rat 1. Sorry, let me get everything centered here. Doing too much at once here. Ontario Rat 2. Oops. User error. So a little bigger than the Rat 2. Obviously a little smaller than the Rat 1. I like to usually line them up by the tip of the handle, so you can kind of see blade length versus handle length. Get these guys out of here. Let's do the Benchmade bug out. So Benchmade bug out large, Benchmade bug out small. And that handle really a lot more generous on the Demko than the small, very similar on the large. And if you get the clip on the Demko, you might even have a slightly longer blade length, as you may have seen in the one I pulled out a minute ago. The blade length is a little bit longer on that. Let's grab the Spyderco. Here is the PM3. And of course, I have my PM2 not handy, as per usual. There we go. PM2, paramilitary 2, I think more technically correct. So definitely a much bigger knife on the blade length and stuff. The PM3 I think is a very common comparison for the Demko 80-20.5. Where I think this excels, it has a slightly shorter handle, where I think this excels is not as tall. Very similar in weight, both around 3.5 ounces if I recall correctly. So let's keep moving here on comparisons. The CGRB Pyrite has certainly become very popular, so that's a great one to compare against. They're very similar in size, very, very similar in size. The Tactile Rockwall, a little bit smaller knife there, but that's become pretty popular too. And how about the Demko AD20 S? Because some of you may be a Demko person that has one of these and is comparing and wants to know, how does that compare? Maybe I'll do it this way so that you can see a little better on the proportion side. So certainly a much bigger blade. You're talking about a 1/4 inch more of cutting edge on the 8020S, about a 1/4 inch bigger on the handle. But the stats are all out there on the website, so you can take a look at them. I think one of the other things to compare on these are the handle width. The slim is not terribly wide, but still quite a bit wider than the 8020.5 here. And let me see if there are any other interesting comparisons I have handy. On the smaller side would be the Banter from Wii. And how about a Hinderer XM18 3.5. So it really shows you kind of where things fit versus knives that you may be more familiar with. I love the size. I EDC this knife more than any other knife in my collection. I have over 100 knives, and I consider these to be just one of the best all-around knives. You never feel like it's not tough enough for the job on the daily basis. Now, I don't work in a factory. I don't wear gloves. There are reasons to have bigger, more robust knives than this, but for something around the house, for my around the house carry, sometimes for going out and stuff, this is a really great EDC. Depending on what I'm doing. If I'm going out and doing certain tasks, I might change up my knife for, I might go fancy. Maybe go with my Demko AD20.5 Damascus, right? And have a little flare sticking out of my pocket. Not putting a deep carry clip on that one because I love having this guy stick up a little bit, right? I might go with something super fancy like my Rockstead, right? There are certain events where I enjoy having a slightly different knife than that one. For 90% of the time, this is what I carry. Again, lately I have switched it up. Here's my my personal 8020.5 I've been carrying in G10. And then prior to that, I was very frequently carrying the Grivery version in OS 10, and really put this one to the test. It's a non-factory edge at this point. You can see the smudges on it. This has now become my box opening knife that I use for the channel. It sits here at my desk, and this is my carry. I said this in the prior video, but you may not have seen it. So big differences. Starts with, let's get rid of mine since it has the deep carry clip on it. Big differences. You get the hardware that you get on normally the 8020S or the more expensive high-end titanium Demko 8020.5s. They have the bigger hardware. The Grivery version had that smaller hardware. So these are running 150. These are running about 250. You don't get the landing pad for the pocket clip. So get is an interesting word, I think, on both the 8020S and the 8020.5 now. Grivery is going to have that landing pad. On the 8020S, it's blank. On the 8020.5, it says 8020.5. So that goes away when you go to G10. Instead of having a back spacer, you have the standoffs. And instead of having OS 10A blade steel, you're going to an S35VN blade steel, which a lot of people would consider much more choice. Pretty much a better blade steel in every aspect. I can't think of a way that OS 10 would be better than S35VN. Keep me honest in the comments if there's some experience that you've had where this is better. Maybe easier to sharpen. That's the only thing I could think of. It might be a little easier to sharpen. Probably give it that. But S35VN, great on the stainless properties, great on the edge retention, and pretty darn good on toughness. It's not super chippy. Now, some people have said, versus 3V, maybe it's chippier, but sure. There's always a blade steel that's got something it does better than whatever it is that you have, and it's very hard to find one that's well balanced. And I think S35VN is very well balanced. It sharpens fine. It has good stainless properties. It's very exciting for a lot of people that love this knife and this overall platform. and they just wanted a couple of these updates. I think Demko's done a really great job of that. And I got to tell you, this is one I'm really excited about. As a carbon fiber fan, this is going to offer some serious competition to the G10 for me, and I'm going to have to play back and forth with these two and kind of see what I like more, because this is one I'm extremely excited about. So really cool new option that I think will probably get its own video because of what they've done here, and what, you know, I think this makes it a more broadly appealing carbon fiber variant than the prior variant with this medium texture that they have going on. You take that carbon fiber plus the S35VN, and that's a pretty sweet knife for $265. Now it's starting to become a really competitive, I feel like, knife for what you're getting versus the market. Again, these aren't made in China, they're made in Taiwan. Without going into politics, there's some real benefits to that. Demko has experience working with Taiwanese manufacturers, not just from, you know, the who knows how many thousands or tens of thousands of, or I don't know how many copies of these they sold, but a lot, plus all their time at Cold Steel before that. So, you know, really exciting new variants in the lineup. I'm obviously very enthusiastic about them. I want to say thank you to John over at Demko Knives for sending all this cool stuff. Again, I'll be distributing a lot of this out to the channel, so get ready for some giveaways, because this is a lot of shark action. And you know, those sharks, they need to eat. I can't feed them all, so I'm gonna have to share those out with you. And it's just neat to see this lineup expand and have more options out for the buyer like myself. I'm excited about what they're doing. Full disclosure, they did send these knives to me. I've not paid for them. I have to either send them back or buy them. So they're not knives I got for free or anything like that. It's a loaner program for me to go check them out. As you know, I did buy this one. If you watched the other video, I love it. Got it from DLT Trading, sent it in like 2 days for me. So that was an awesome experience. So I cast my consumer vote already. I really like that knife so far. Been carrying it with me pretty much every day. And I think each one of these is a highly considerable option too versus other things in the market. Look, I'm not here to sell knives or anything, but just wanted to really get these in hand, compare them to what's out there. And I'll just do one last, I always do like a little close-up at the end, one last close-up of the scales so you can check each one of them out and try and see those for yourself. This one's always a little hard to get good lighting on, so sorry for that. Go with the black G10. And then the carbon fiber. So that was a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I'm sure I missed some things. We got some weigh-ins, we got some size comparisons. Maybe I'll just do one last good measure, an actual length check for anyone that's maybe new to the knife and didn't see videos on the AS10 versions, but you've got just about a 3-inch blade there with about a 2.75 cutting edge. Your total length, just around 7.5 with the shark's foot. It'll be a little longer, just under, like maybe 7 3/8 inches with the shark's foot. Be about 7.5 or maybe even a smidge more with the clip point variant. The weigh-in we did 3.6 or so ounces, so you know, a very reasonable ratio of blade length to weight. All of them came with generally pretty good lockup. You may have to, you know, mileage may vary, you may have to just adjust a tad, but it's super easy to do. And you don't need to put Loctite on these. They've talked about that quite a bit. It comes with some like silicone or whatever tape on it. I don't remember what the right term is, but you should be able to just tighten that up and it'll be fine. If it isn't, feel free to throw a very small amount of Loctite on there, but careful with putting too much Loctite on those. You really want just to get just the right amount of tightness so that it has good travel. And it doesn't take that much to get this thing really solid in here. So just keep that in mind. You do not have to crank that down to get a good race against the pivot hardware. I think that's it for now. Obviously a little bit of a longer video, but a lot of really cool options that Demko just brought out on these. If you want to know what's on my mind, yeah, I'm going to go talk to John about buying some more of these. These are just really cool. Love this color. Again, hard use EDC, not a hard use, but like one that you don't have to worry about having your hands dirty and having the carbon fiber. I love this lineup, so I'm gonna take some pics. I've already got this guy, and I'm gonna, talk to them about buying probably a couple more just because I think it's such a good knife. This one I feel like could last me for a few years. Oh, I had one story. It was sitting in my lap and I stood up out of my car. I should have thrown it back in my pocket, but for some reason I put it in my lap after going to the gym. And it dropped from waist height on the ground and it hit the right here on the tip. Full good like 2.5 foot drop or whatever it is. I don't know what my waist height is, 3 feet, I guess 3 feet or so. Straight on the ground on cement. And it's not bad. Like I was expecting to have a pretty bad impact there. That G10 is pretty darn strong because it landed straight down from like 3.5 feet right on the tip of that corner. Nothing else had a scratch on it. Just that one little abrasion right there. So definitely a solid G10 handle. That was pretty impressive to me because I was shocked. It was like the second day I had it. I was like, no. But luckily, like I don't even notice it anymore. Of course, I was staring at it right away when it happened, but now it's got a little bit of dirt on it or whatever, covering up the little bit of white that it showed through, and or the G10 natural, whatever. And I don't even see it anymore. So pretty good impact resistance there. Don't try this at home. But all for now. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll be doing, I think, one more video with some of the clip point variants if they come in. Hoping to get a few more in on the channel here. But please let me know what I missed. I'll try and do whatever comparison, comment. I can even do some shorts on these to get out some more information on them. Really exciting to have these additional ones in the lineup, and hope you enjoyed. Please like, subscribe, and we will see you on the next one. Take care.